Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to True Talk Tuesday, where I give you the real deal on real estate. Right now, we are going to discuss during this show some changes to formatting. I have been doing a lot of thinking about branding lately and making sure that my brand is very clear on who I serve and what I do. And I feel like there is some things that can be expanded on this show. So tonight is your night. I would like to hear from you. I want to know what are your thoughts so far of what we've been doing? How do you like having guest speakers on here? Cuz I would like to bring more on here. I would like to bring panels on here. My ultimate goal is I'd like to have an inspector, a lender, a title agent. I'd like to have a listing agent and a buyer agent. I'd like to have everybody on and let's talk about the things that go on during a real estate deal. So, that's my phone going off. I was like, what is vibrating on my phone? I have my phone on the charger right now, and I have it on I've got like a little unicorn. If you ever see me out and about and I've got my phone stand, it's a little unicorn raft. Like when I tell you this is just who I am. I'm just silly and whimsical. Um, and that's the way I like it. But as far as the show, what I was thinking of as far as changes go is that, like I said, I'd like to have a panel of speakers come on. I'd like to be able to also focus some on local businesses. And that's where the change comes in. Is focusing on local businesses can be seen as not talking about real estate. But the way I view it, local businesses are what create our economy here, right? Right. Okay. And so understanding how they are doing business can kind of help us understand how our market is doing, right? So I would love to be able to have small businesses on here, but this is ultimately a show for you guys. It's an educational show. That's why I do it. I want to make sure that when you guys are ready to step into the next chapter of your story, you have all the information. You have that book in front of you and you know, oh, yep, we covered this, 2 weeks ago, that kind of thing. So, my question to you is what would you like to see? And if you're just stepping in and you're like, I don't know who this person is, this is a green haired weirdo. Look, for one, on the screen, it has my name. It says Shalisa Muehlberger. I'm a realtor with S&D Real Estate Services. I have been in real estate for a couple of years now. And my favorite thing to do is to actually educate. Um, Coming from an education background, I was in public education for 20 years. I Coming from an education background, I couldn't take it out of my heart. I really couldn't take it out of my heart. I tried to go pure sales, and that's not who I am. So I was like, all right, how do I incorporate my educational side with my real estate side? And we first started with making sure that I did a lot of first time home buyer classes. That was a lot of fun. I created a game one time. We did a first time home buyer class that was Alice in Wonderland themed, and we played a card game that took you through the whole transaction process. And some people had really smooth transactions, and some people, man, they had some doozies of a problems, right? But it was a lot of fun. So I started off with first time home buyer, uh, doing courses that way. And then, of course, I started doing True Talk Tuesday. And I feel like with True Talk Tuesday, we have covered a lot of different topics, a lot of different topics. We have covered topics from, what my favorite weird topic. What happens if you find a dead body in your yard? One, call the cops, right? So we've talked about what does that do to your market value. We've talked about data centers. We have talked about what to expect during inspections. We have had, Lisa Gardner in with life insurance and talking about how that affects real estate and what you can do with that. We've had Savannah Panetta over here from Goosehead Insurance talking about homeowners insurance. We've had Sarah Stiegler talking about CRA funds. We've done a lot of different things. So, of course, I want to continue making sure that we do a lot of different things. That's why I'm thinking my phone doesn't know not to ring my actual computer, and my best friend is trying to call me. So, we're going to send a little message to my best friend. Hey, best friend, I don't know why you're not watching me. You know I'm on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. So, I'm going to be like, I'm going to take a picture. Somebody in the comments. Come on, quick. Put a comment in. Say, hey, Tiffany, don't call her at 8 o'clock, right? Just do it, and I'm going to take a picture of it, all right? That's what we're going to do. There, I took a picture of me, and I'm sending it to her. And she's going to laugh. And I'm going to tag her in this video now, all right? You're like, hey, you remember I do this show? We are actually on a. There she is. She was like, wait a minute. She's going to pop in on this one. We're actually on a deal together right now. And so, because she is on listing side and I'm on buying side, there are things that after the show, her and I get to talk about because that's what happens when you are in real estate. When you are in the middle of a deal, I will say this, I'm training an admin. She will be my transaction coordinator. Transaction coordinator means that she helps make sure that every paper gets signed appropriately and that it's submitted to my compliance department. She will also send off emails on my behalf if I need to. So, um, I'm training her, right? And we're all in the middle of we were in the middle of a pretty hard transaction last week, and this was my transaction coordinator's first one. And I afterwards asked her once we closed, I said, did this scare you away? Are you done? And she's like, absolutely not. So Tiffany and I, though, are used to this kind of thing. In real estate, um, you assume from a buyer's perspective, what happens a lot with my first time buyers is once they get their pre-approval and they get all the documents in, unless I have really educated them, and this is why I prefer the education part. If you're not a really educated buyer, you're going to think that everything's great until your closing date, and there are so many different hurdles that have to be crossed, right? During inspection, you can find something out during inspection, and those repairs would have to be negotiated between seller and buyer. And sometimes they don't agree. So the listing agent and the buyer's agent will try their best to make sure that both parties get what they want in something that they're happy with, right? They might not get exactly what they want, but they're happy with, so that way we can cross that hurdle and go to the next one. The next hurdle is appraisal. Sometimes houses come in above value. And when we say above value, that means what you're paying for it, right? If you're buying the house. So the next one would be appraisal. If it comes in value or above value, you're gravy. If it comes in below value, then we have to talk about things. We have to figure that out because your lender is not going to give you the money for that house, right? It's only going to give you what the appraiser said it was worth. So we have to talk about that. And then you are still going through underwriting as a buyer. And sometimes buyers, you don't realize there's something in your credit history. And the underwriters pull your credit right before closing. And guess what? Boop, that pops off. There are so many things that can happen during a transaction. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you have a very good realtor and you have trust in them, right? You know that they're going to take care of things. So this is why I do the show, one of these things. But Tiffany and I are in a deal, and we've got things that we need to discuss because that's what happens during a transaction. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that buyers and sellers might not see. They think we've done our thing and we're just sitting there watching TV. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're making sure things are getting done in the background and making phone calls if needed and making sure that things are going smoothly. And if there's a hiccup, finding the solution for that hiccup. That's our jobs, right? We have to understand how legally all that works. Legally how all of that works. So I really think it's important that the show keep going educationally. But like I said, I have met so many very cool business people lately through the different networking that I've done. You'll see that I've got a pink bracelet on right now, and this is from Polk County Women Mean Business. Shout out to all my ladies there. They are it's one of the best networking groups that I've ever been a part of. And they're doing cool things, and I want to include them on the show and the different businesswomen there because they're a part of our community and they're part of what makes our real estate market what it is, right? So, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about me adding more people on to the show, more business people? Sometimes it might be weird and not seem to correlate to real estate, but like I said, they're doing business within our town that does correlate to real estate. That those are jobs for people, right? And jobs for people make our housing market stronger. So, like, what is it that you feel you want the most? All right. I see I've got lurkers on there. I see you guys. I see you. I know you're there. All right. Just tell me hi. If you don't even have a question like, oh, I want this, just tell me hi. All right. While I'm waiting for their comments, though, I did say that Polk County women are doing something very, very cool. Yesterday, I was a part of a fashion show to kick off our confidence closet. I love this initiative. The confidence closet basically is open to Polk County business women. And if you need an outfit, doesn't matter your income, doesn't matter what season of life you're in, doesn't matter shape, size, whatever, right? Whatever you need, you're in business and you need an outfit. We have the confidence closet. We They have named it confidence closet because confidence is what really brings you success. And it's one of the words that I love that they chose it. It's one of my words for this year is confidence. I am establishing more and more confidence. Last year was fear. I did things that scared me. This year, I repeat to myself that I can do whatever I set my mind to. So I love that they chose the word confidence because confidence does equate success. You see it easier, I think it is. I don't know. Here's my little take. I think you see it easier when you're confident. You can start seeing the blessings where they are, and the more that you see them, the more they stack up. So that's the way I feel about it. But all right, lurkers, you're not gonna comment. Okay, not a problem. I'm gonna make this short though, because this was literally I just wanted to open it up to you guys. And I know a lot of you watch this after the fact. So if you're watching this after the fact, I need to know, how do you feel about me opening it up to different business owners? I would love specifically to showcase business women business owners here in Central Florida. All right, in Polk County. Why? Because I think that's cool. That's all you need to know. Just because. I would love to be able to showcase more women business owners. So, if you think that's a good idea, I would love for you to leave me a comment. You can leave me a heart if you think that's a great idea. If you think that's an awful idea and you just want me to stick to real estate, it's all you want is just the numbers of real estate, which is fine. I can do that too. I want you to leave me a smiley face. All right. So, smiley face if you just want me to leave it to real estate. If you would like for me to open it up to different businesses locally here once a month, I'm not talking about every show, right? Not talking about every show because remember, we're going to do panels and we're going to have panels of people speaking on real estate. But I'd like to open it up once a month to business owners here locally. Tell me what you think about that. All right, my lovelies. All right, my lovelies. For tonight, that is it. Until next Tuesday, be happy, be safe, and know that I love you. Because if people can hate for no reason, I can love you for no reason. All right, my lovelies. See you later.